when you're mindful, I know for me, when I'm mindful, that's when joy shows up. And so often for me, I'm a creative person, so I'm always in my own little world creating and thinking, what do we want to do on the show next, or what do I want to do about this, or whatever, right? And that's not being in the present. That's not really being mindful. It's joyous too in terms of being creative. I like that process, but I find for myself, I only want to speak for myself, I'm either living in that creative or living in the future thinking I can't wait until this happens, or I tend to recede back to the past and think about this and, oh, I wished I'd done that, or remember when that happened, right? But I'm always mindful about the fact that true joy only happens in the present. And that's what being mindful is about, is being in the present. So that's going to sound a little weird with today's topic, because today's topic, I'm talking a little bit about creating stories in your head, because we already do, right? We create stories that, oh, I can't do this because, and then we can all fill in the blank, or that person doesn't like me because, or I don't deserve to have this because, right? These stories that, like old tapes, old cassette tapes that run in our head that dictate how we feel about ourselves, which then becomes what we project out into the world. And one of the things that has been very popular with our kiddos on the spectrum is creating socially significant stories for them. So if we have a kiddo who's going to be having anxiety about something, we might create a little storybook, and maybe it's only 5 pages long, but it's just like a regular book. We can create it on an iPad if we want to. There are programs to be able to do that. But a lot of people just take construction paper and put it together and say, so, here's the story. And the starring character of the story is the person that we want to help with stress, right? So if it's your 4-year-old who's on the autism spectrum, that's the star of the story. If it's you because you're having stress at work, or you're having stress about your child's autism, you're the star of the story. But we create the story, and it sounds ridiculous, but it's not. There's nothing ridiculous about it, because it plants the seeds of everything is possible. So let's say that we've got a 4-year-old who's going to go off to kindergarten in 6 months, and we're having anxiety about it, right? So we put together a storybook for the 4-year-old about, and let's say that the 4-year-old's name is Joey, and we call it Joey Goes to Kindergarten. Right? And we sit down, and once a day we read through the story, and there's either drawings that you and Joey do together, or there's pictures that you cut out of a magazine, or pictures that you have of Joey. But it says, Joey is a wonderful little boy, and he is going to kindergarten. And he is so excited because he's going to get to finger paint, and he's going to make friends, and he's going to have a great teacher. And when he gets picked up at the end of the day, mom is going to be there and give him a hug, and he's going to get to go home and play, right? Whatever the story is. But we sit and we read that story, and we read it to Joey once a day for 6 months before kindergarten. How do you think kindergarten is going to go for Joey? And is it different than if Joey hadn't heard that story every day for 6 months? I guarantee you he's going to be excited about going to kindergarten. And that may not be the only emotion he feels, but at least a part of him is going to be excited because the story said he's excited. And he's going to look forward to the finger painting because the story said there was going to be finger painting and he was excited about it. And he's going to know that mom's going to pick him up and give him a hug, and he's going to get to play because he heard it over and over and over again. If somebody tells you that you are worthless, and believe me, we all know somebody that had that as a child, that they were told that they were worthless. Oh my gosh, as a teacher, it would break my heart, right? The kid who comes in and just hangs their head, and they've been told by somebody at home that they're worthless, and so they own it because they've heard it a million times. And it takes a lot to be able to say to them, you're fabulous, on a regular basis, to try to erase all those little times that they were told that they were worthless. But you know what? It works. It works. It really does. And we can do this for ourselves. So if there's something you're facing, if there's something that's giving you anxiety or something in the future that you're afraid of, take a minute. And you can do it on a little piece of paper. You can do it on just one Post-it. Draw yourself a picture of it, but put some language to it. Make yourself the star of your story. Create that socially significant story about how successful you are. We've talked before on the show, and I love on Grey's Anatomy that they really do this. There was a study that showed that certain poses, I'm trying to do the Superman pose at the moment, standing like this with your arms on your hips and putting your chest out like Superman stands, right? If you stand this way for 2 minutes, you will perform better at whatever it is that you're about to do. Surgeons do this before surgery. That's how you see it on Grey's Anatomy. And there are a couple of other poses too that they do. One where your arms are up over your head and it's like you're flying, and one when you have your arms behind your head and you put your feet up on your desk. And that's supposed to be like you're the boss, right? I don't like those. Those don't work as well for me. But the Superman pose, man, sometimes I do that in the elevator on the way up here to the studio, and it's not a full 2 minutes, but I feel better. I feel like, man, I can do stuff. So utilize it. Tell yourself the story that you want to star in. Make it a reality. Make it part of your day. Make it something that you look at and go, yeah. Because the truth is, I know that you can do all kinds of things that maybe you've been telling yourself that you can't. And I'm here to tell you that you can. And now you can tell yourself that you can many times a day. Use this with your kiddos. Use it with yourself. It will help you in the moment to feel more capable, right? When you're in the story, you're not quite in the moment, but in the moment, it makes you more available to good things.